There you go. See that little thing right there? That's what you're recording. Then you can just open up after that. Just be like, hey, welcome.
You're so funny. Anyways, so yes, welcome to our class. Um, we're gonna talk about Itzkuintli today, right? The dog, the sacred energy of the dog. But before that, I just want to remind everybody, right? Come into the space with open minds, motivation, excitement to learn, right? To expand what we already kind of think we know, right? um, and just be excited for the learning, right? We're in this together. We're all learning at our different paces. We all have different perspectives that I think are helpful. Um, so yeah, welcome to the class, everybody.
Yes, welcome. And let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody. So let's start with Itzkuintli. Um, Itzkuintli is the 10th sign of the Tonalpohualli, uh, the dog, right? The dog is going to teach us a lot of different things. This particular class is going to be really tied to Miklampa dreams, right? I think a lot of us have heard of how the dog was one of the pets that our elders used to have. And in their cosmological view, uh, the pet is something that also helped them in the afterlife, in the Mictlan. So it is basically going to be something that is going to be linked to that in a lot of different ways. So yeah, it'll be really exciting, I think. No anything, Pilar, you want to take us off with this?
Um, yeah, I can talk a little bit about the sign before we get into the translations. Itzkuintli is it's a sign that talks about loyalty, about unconditional love. You know, like dogs, they have this unconditional love for their owners, their family, and they're very loyal. And so, you know, like every other sign we talk about, it's about embodying that, but in a healthy way, like a balanced way. Because if you're not balanced, right, like yeah, like a dog that is extremely loyal, you know, a dog that is not sorry, a dog that is so loyal that he becomes violent, you know, it becomes a danger even to his own family. And so we can learn a lot about this sign. I'm sorry. Yes, son, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I need to deal with my kid for a second. Someone else can go. I'm sorry about that.
No anything, TechPad?
So, I guess just to add a few things. Yeah, I mean, the dog, right? Its traits and qualities, um, of that characteristic is loyalty, right? Always being there, the best companion, right? The best human companion. Um, and then so there's like that closeness, the bond, right, between man and dog. And I think that has been historically present for um multiple occasions to kind of look at, right? To kind of like base it off of. But yeah, it has to do with loyalty and conditional love, right? We see how when we have our dogs, right, for those of us that have our pets, you see that bond, that relationship, right? They're always excited to see you no matter what. You could be in the worst possible mood and mistreat the dog, right? And within a few minutes, right, span of time, the dog will come back and still be excited to see you, be wagging its tail, right? Ready to just continue with its day. And so I think it has really good teachings behind it of sometimes emulating those qualities and traits at times. So, maybe um, letting go, right? Practicing that motion of like truly letting go, right? Not holding on to grudges, um, having healthier communication and relationships with individuals, um, learning what trust really means, right? The work that it takes to build trust. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to add for now without giving away too much.
Johnny?
So, I mean, what would I add about, man's best friend, the dog? I think that those of us that have a dog, I'm lucky enough to share space with uh, the dog that locally lives with me. I don't think that I own him, although I say all the time that I own him. I think I like to think that he's free, but he's not my possession, although uh, we keep on saying that these pets belong to us. I think that we form this bond, with our pet, especially with dogs, that is only similar to that of humans, right? That we can form with humans. Um, is basically an extremely lovable, humble, uh, full of curiosity, full of different things that make a dog such a beautiful being, right? Um, whether it's basically just licking you, right? And going back to some of the teachings that we've already learned about the sacredness of the tongue and sacredness of the saliva, right? I mean, when I learned that, I saw the way that my dog licked me to show affection in a completely different way. Um, yeah, that's what I will share about our canine friend. No need sing Nemo.
Nice handoff. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. Um, I mean, what else can we talk about?
You can move on to the next slide. It's okay.
No, I had to put my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents,
No,
your 2 pesos.
my
Into-
my ego says I have to put my 2 cents.
There, you can do the next slide for us.
All right. Let's see if I don't ruin this artful masterpiece that Magniti Pilar put together for us. Thank you. Mati. All right. Itzkuintli dog. Orientation Mictlampa North. Color white. Regent is Mictlantecutli. The dog is always used as a symbol for loyalty, archetype of the loyal companion. That is its nature, and by being that way, the animal does not require external conditioning to be loyal to his essence, which is gregarious and with a strong sense of belonging to the herd. So, very different that human beings that frequently condition our quote unquote love to the character of our loved ones. Dogs love, period. He's friendly, loyal, and a protector because that is his essence. It doesn't happen on anything condescension. Wait, I messed up on that. On anything exterior, since the love and loyalty flow from the inside to the out. As humans, we almost always do the opposite. We demand condescension, attention, a feeling of belonging, and many more things that without them we cannot keep loving. The first lesson of the dog is that If we eliminate personal importance, egomania, we can discover that unconditional love is also in our essence. The dog also indicates adventure, the walking on the dog foot, as it is said in Mexico. What's the translation for that, Atlani? Or Pilar, real quick? Walking on dog foot.
So that really
Caminando a
translates.
pata de perro or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Me voy a ir de pata de perro. It really translates to I'm gonna take off and just go on vacation, go on a drive, go, I don't know, go to a river, go to a lake. It's basically trying to explain the somebody's always kind of like in the move, right? But at the end of the day, they're gonna come back to the root that they came from. So if you guys notice this week, the Mashtiani actually said that is today. He was like, this weekend I'm gonna go the Pata de Perro to Acapulco to do a ceremony. So we won't have class, right? And that's basically, he used that term to say that he was actually going to do a ceremony, meaning he was just basically going on a trip.
Understood. Understood. Lasso Camati. And for those of you that uh, partook and shared, thank you so much, Pilar. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. The walking on dog foot, as it is said in Mexico, is to be a traveler, to be nomadic from place to place. This reflects the curious nature that this animal has, but the quality that equilibrates this characteristic is that the dog always goes back home. Surely the reader knows firsthand and through stories some situation where a dog traveled kilometers to find its family, or a dog who went missing for multiple days and suddenly appeared one day back home. This transmits a attachment to roots, a taste for stability, despite the existence of the tendency of traveling. In another context, the dog is the protection of one's own, making them an excellent protector for a home. It is the pack mentality of these beings that speaks to us of coordination and hierarchical order. This aspect, not equilibrated, can devolve into negative aspects, which include excessive attachment, jealousy, and possessiveness. An extremely territorial dog becomes dangerous, including to the house it is possessive of. Very true. That's very true. Anyways, I'll let Brother Tony jump in because I know he wants to say something.
Well, no, actually, you cover all of this quite good, and I think that he kind of gives a really good explanation. Thank you for translating it, no anything Pilar. It kind of gives us a really good notion of what the dog is actually viewed as from the Mexican culture, right? Although it's a mix of different cultures, the dog has a different meaning, especially to the true indigenous people, native people of the lands, right? The different uh, uh, nations that are within the Mexican territory held the dog in high regards because of this type of characteristics that it showed uh, in its way of life, right? Which is something that would be amazing for any of us to be able to achieve as well, right? Be able to be, curious, be able to be lovable, be able to be forgetful, not have that type of resentment that kind of eats away at our energy, at our, happiness that keeps us away from the balance. And that's basically one of the things about the dog, right? Is that balance, is that beauty of the balance that it holds that makes it such an amazing tonal. If we notice, it is basically right in the middle of the Tonalpohualli, is the 10th out of 20. So it kind of shows you that balance as well between the beginning and end, right? How we have to be able to reach the Quetzalcoatl, which the Quetzalcoatl, as the Temachtian explained it, is not a god, but it's basically a title. Is something that all of us should achieve to reach in our lifetime, which is basically that balance, right, of the spiritual and the earth, right? The Quetzal representing the spirit or the sky, and the Coat, the snake, representing the land, right? So yeah, that's what I would want to add to that. Anyone else?
Tlatucamati.
I mean, the only other thing I think I would add is, I think it points out also very well at the end, right, that with any sign, going to the extremes can be more of a hindrance than a benefit, right, or something that can help us. So just as the dog can represent loyalty and, you know, unconditional love, right? It could also go to the extreme of being territorial, right? Possessive, a little more aggressive. And so I think it's just a nice also reminder that we must live in a harmonious manner, right? We must find the balance in all that we do, right? There's teachings and everything. And I think it's just more of changing those mindsets, right? To be able to kind of absorb or process some of those perspectives or teachings or messages. But that's all I was going to add. We can move on to the next.
Real quick, a story about the dog being overly territorial and protective that it becomes a danger. Um, in my first marriage, I went to my ex's cousin's house, and their cousins, they have some training in like military dog training, so they train their dog to do, you know, to do what it's supposed to do and act accordingly in what they believe a dog should be. And so they train their dog, and um, I don't know, it was just weird. The dog was playing with my dog, and then uh, somehow the cousin got involved, and then his hand got caught in the other dog's attempt to kind of, play around, but the dog didn't let go. And so it was like, no way, we're just witnessing this. So I kind of jumped up and, tried to look big and mean. And I knew that he'd probably kick my butt because it's a dog. But regardless, I wanted him to, I just wanted to move the attention, sorry, away. And so, yeah, that was pretty interesting to witness. But yes, moving on. Next slide. Next slide.
I actually wanted to say one thing about
Yes, go
the
ahead.
previous slide, which is that I think that it's interesting, this idea of the dog being comfortable with home and always going back to its roots. Because when we think about it as something that we have, like in my personal experience, right? Like I grew up in an abusive household. And so for me, that was what my roots were. That is what I knew, and that is what I would go home to, what I would result back to, because that was what I knew as home, right? Like I have changed because I have willed myself to change. But, you know, it, I think that it's really interesting, that aspect of the dog returning back home, because it's attached, right? We all have this kind of attachment to the kinds of relationships that we grew up around, you know? Um, yeah, I can read the next slide if you want. That's fine with me.
For sharing, and go ahead, 918.
Okay. It says, there exists an ancient belief that dogs are the animals that help the souls of the dead cross a certain river, beyond which they begin their journey in search of eternal rest. It is said that if you mistreat your dog in life, he will abandon you and you will not be able to cross over in death. Abandoned to grieve amongst this plane of existence. Beyond the purely mythical component of this belief, this author wonders if this may have something to do with the way we treat ourselves and our own egoic envelope in life. If we weren't loyal to ourselves, if we didn't know how to love unconditionally, if we mistreat ourselves or abandon ourselves, perhaps the crossing of our consciousness to the other side results difficult. Due to its gregarious nature, this sign is related to family, guidance, and protection that those most experienced give to the youth. The sign also speaks to cooperation and teamwork since what a single dog, wolf, coyote, or any other canine cannot achieve alone, he achieves when he works together with his peers. For the Mayas, the sign dog is identified with Tzi, Quiche, and Ok, Maya Yucateco. It represents qualities like authority and justice. It speaks of order, respect, and obedience. It is said that this time is apt for people in positions of authority to elevate their consciousness and understanding. The Maísta Sergio Calderon says that this sign is translated as journey or footprint. And we can relate this to the authority that emanates from having walked much in life. So for the Mayas, this sign relates to respect towards elders, authority, and laws. Those born under this sign are said to be loyal, excellent companions, family-centered people that demonstrate generosity in life with the ability of leadership. If poorly balanced, they can be reckless, thoughtless, and meddlesome. Um, I think that that's a lesson. That the sign itself is a really big lesson for for many of us. You know, me personally, going through some certain stuff that I'm going through right now about what it is to give not only just unconditional love to others, but to yourself. Like even when you're going through the hardest times, you have to be loving to yourself. You have to be loving to yourself and accepting even, you know, of everything that's happening, even if you consider things to be mistakes. You know, everything is happening for a reason. There's always going to be a positive to what you're going through. And there's always lessons to be learned through, you know, every experience that is handed to us in life. That's why we're experiencing it. There's something that we have to take from it, and we can choose to take the negative or choose to take the positive. And it's really just up to us. Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
I think I would like to add something really quick. At the bottom there, we should, where it says, those born under this sign are said to be loyal, excellent companions, family-centered people that demonstrate generosity in life with the ability of leadership. That's amazing, right? But one of the beauties of the Tonal in being able to read the signs and the energies of it, the beauty of it is that you also learn the negative aspect, right? And we can see it here, right? So for this person, right, the negativity would be that if they don't uh, embrace or take full advantage of the traits that they have within their energy, right? Like being loyal, like being excellent companions or family-centered people, right? There will be, I mean, those are the positives, right? But you also have that negative, right? Which is there, if poorly balanced, they can be reckless, thoughtless, and meddlesome, right? So with every tonal, you have both the positive and also the negative, and we'll go ahead and dig more into that as we start learning how to read the tonalamat, the actual energies. But this right here basically gives us that first window into being able to see how there's also a negative aspect to the tonales. It isn't just, everything is positive. That's what I wanted to add. Anyone else?
So thoughtless and meddlesome, right? That's pretty crazy. Anyways, moving on to the next slide. I'm gonna read this one.
Itzkuintli, the dog represents loyalty, fidelity to ideals, and a passion for discovering new lands. In a person, it gives a quality of loyalty to their form of thinking, their form of acting, their friendships. There's a feeling of obligation to protect those friendships, and you have to learn to utilize flexibility to accept that others also have their own ideas and ways of thinking, and many times don't coincide with our own. Receive them with pleasure and respect without entering into controversy. That would only lead into exhaustion for all those involved. You must accept that you'd like to walk on new journeys far from home, but knowing that home is the refuge you will always return to. A person in harmony and equilibrated allows their friendships to not be exclusive, and they do not get jealous because their friends have new people they are bonding with. I don't know. It was very, very well said, very eloquent. Yeah, just the teachings behind it, right? Just reminding us that we we are in control of our own thoughts, our own feelings, right? Our own reactions, as much as we want to change and improve and help other people, right? We really, as it says here, right, we shouldn't really put too much energy, um, or exert too much energy on those individuals, right? On those individuals that may um, that both points might not always be on the same page, right? Or there may be conflict, right? But that it's not something that should be seen as a negative, right? It should just be seen as a difference, right? Something, just the way I guess things are. Um, yeah, you guys want to add to the slide?
Brother Flanny, anything?
I think we can move on to the next slide if you like.
Would you want to tackle this one, brother?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was asking if you wanted to tackle this one.
Oh, Mictlantecutli, the next one. He's the so-called Lord of the Dead, since he governs Mictlan, Nawa underworld where those they have lost their flesh rest. For the Nawak ancestors, death was not a presence that was feared. It was just a part of life itself and an energy that one existed with. He also represents the transformations or many deaths that happen in life, which could be one of the proposals to work on when this regent is present. gain consciousness of the changes and transformation in how we relate to them. Mictlantecutli also affirms a position of respect to those that have already transcended. We must not forget that we owe it to them. He reigns over the sign Itzkuintli of the count of days, the 13th, the trecena of Tekpat, the numeral 6 of the daily sequence, and the number 5 of the nocturnal sequence, as well as the 20s, veintenas of the Chocot, Wetzi, and Wei Mikawitl. Mictlantecutli, if I had to give a better explanation, a more simple explanation, think of the Lord of Mictlampa, the place where we rest, right? And this also includes the little rest. And what was the little rest? The little death, right? If you want to translate it, uh, would be basically when we fall asleep, right? That was one of the deaths that we went through. So basically, the way that our elders looked at it is anytime we went to sleep, right, we reach this point of death, right? So to them, death was not as it is to us, where basically, this is something that happens to you once. Uh, and that's generally at the end of your life when your body lives or is no longer with the energy, the soul, or whatever you may want to call it, right? uh, but our ancestors actually thought of these as a regular event that happened all the time throughout our lives. Anytime we went to sleep, anytime we meditated, anytime we use sacred medicine to reach a elevated state of consciousness, one of the things that we would want to do is basically ask permission of Mictlantecutli, who is basically the regent, the lord, the king of that realm, right? If you want to call it that. So that's basically the way that I would try and explain it a little better when it came to Mictlantecutli. No, anyone, anything else you guys would like to add?
Eloquently put. I mean, there's nothing much that could be said after all of that. Thank you so much, Nugnitin Atlani, for being so knowledgeable and for sharing. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. I think no, right? This is not my region. This is not one of them, right? Atlantic Weekly.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Yes. Anyways, going back to the lesson. Next slide. Oh, and I just wanted to share real quick. Um, in trying to prepare for this class, I wasn't aware that Temachtilistli was going somewhere, right? So I ignorantly reached out to him and I was like, Temachtilistli, do you have the slides? And he was like, Hermanito, like, comprame una cerveza and buy me a beer. And I was like, okay. And so he was like, buy me a beer, but like a carton for the grandparents. And so I was like, let's do it. And so I kind of figured out what, a carton cost in that area. And I sent him roughly an estimated amount close to that. And so, with a little bit extra, of course. Anyways, and so I'm not sure if he got the beer and had a, had a good time or if he didn't, but I just wanted to share that part. Mateo Winech Lemnikat, Mictlampa. Walk in the path of the renewal, Mikistli. And so, okay, so Brother Tani, I wanted to ask, where is this image located? Is this in the okay, anyways, where is this image located?
That should be Borgia
This
in the
one,
Borgia Codex.
the left. That's the one I'm referring to.
Right, that should be on board here. That's Itzkuintli.
Okay. And it's Itzkuintli on the right side for a lot of people who aren't aware. That's Itzkuintli, how it's represented. And let's get into it. So it's gonna be a breakdown. You're gonna get a small little Nahuatl course, right? Talking about Temachtilistli or dream, right? We're gonna break it down. What is Tla? Well, Tla comes from Tlacatl or person. Again, for those who aren't very familiar with saying the last part of this phrase, Tlacatl, think about when you say the word Atlanta, right? You say the Tla for Atlanta. Well, it's kind of same concept. Uh, you just put the roof on the roof of your mouth, you put in your tongue and you're blowing out air on the sides. And so that's how you get that part. And so tlacat, person, te for tet or rock, miki meaning death. Lis is a particle of the noun in the abstract, or aspect, meaning that it's making it, something that's outside of what we can physically understand. Tli meaning sacred, which is a noun forming suffix. So Tlatemikilistli all stands for like the sacred dream. Oh, anybody else want to add anything to this, Brother Atlani?
No needs in Pilar or no needs in TechPad. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I guess it was spoken about earlier, right? About the little deaths that we take each time that we fall asleep and visit the realm of dreams. So I don't know, I think it's just more of a personal share, right? That was something, or that was a concept that was very interesting to me when I first joined, and started gaining the knowledge and education that we're receiving, right? Of looking at it in that perspective of, yeah, we have like little deaths, right? That we return back from each time that we wake up. And so I don't know, just it's something to kind of like take some time to reflect on, right? It's a very beautiful, but very powerful, I guess, way to look at it. Um, I don't know, there's just so much that you can do, right? In Miklampa, right? You can communicate, right? You can strengthen family ties, strengthen relationships. I think it's just mind blowing, right? You just have to put a lot of uh, knowledge and wisdom, right, to achieve those levels of knowledge. Um, but yeah, I don't really have much else. I don't know if Sister Breland has anything else.
Or Brother Atlani? There you go. Hey, Pilar.
Hey, sorry. It's just my kid's still awake. It's just hard doing everything with him. Um, I guess what I wanted to share for this slide was just that, you know, when you're dreaming at first, if you're not really aware, I don't remember what all the classifications were that Temachtilistli talks about, but he says that there are different types of dreamers. And, before I learned anything about this, you know, studies and stuff, I didn't really pay attention to my dreams, and I rarely ever did dream. Mostly I think because I smoked so much, but um I started paying more attention to my dreams after having a really impactful dream one time. And even if it's like a really simple dream, there's a way for you to connect it to what's actually happening, throughout your day. So the hardest part is just remembering the dream. And so I remember somebody mentioned it in one of the previous classes, that people before they could write, what they would do is they would draw out, the last scene of their dream. And if you can't remember what your dream was, what happened in it, you can jot down all of the information that you do. You can try to remember the colors that you saw, if you saw people, if you saw animals, and then it'll be easier for you to look back at it if you write it down. And I forgot who mentioned it in the other class, but I have been doing that where they suggested that you write down your dream and then you check, to see what sign is what sign we are that day that you have the dream, to see how it can relate so that you are better prepared throughout the day. And so, for example, like today, I believe at 6:45 we switched into water, and so we're going to be in water tonight, and then tomorrow at 6 we switch over to dog. So it can be a way for us to better process things, and better be prepared uh, in our daily life, because it's all connected, right? Subconsciously, consciously. um, I have been going through a lot of stuff recently with my personal relationships, and this sign, the dog sign, is very related to that, right? It's related to the loyalty that we feel for people, the love that we have for people. And I I don't know, like I know that these classes, or that this lesson is something that I needed to hear in order to better process what I'm going through. And equally, the dreams, just like what's happening in our life right now, the dreams are also important for us. And yeah, I mean, if you guys are up to sharing, we can definitely share in the WhatsApp group when you guys have a dream that you guys want to talk about. I have thought about it, but I haven't really shared anything in the WhatsApp group. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel like it would be pretty helpful to have a couple other people hear what we have to say as far as our dreams goes.
I think we should.
That's all I want to say.
It's a good idea.
And you kind of jot it down so it's forever engraved. And but yes, jotting them down is a very healthy way of. Well, I mean, you're gonna see because it's gonna tell us.
Another thing is when you write down your dreams, you start seeing patterns, right? You start seeing messages. And the actual exercise of you writing down your dreams makes it to where you actually remember your dreams much better. So that's an actual exercise that helps you in develop being able to remember your dreams easier as you progress, right? Um, the thing about these exercises, and this applies to all of them, right? Uh, it, it might not happen the first time. It might not happen for 10 or 20 or times, right? But it's the consistency of trying and trying to basically achieve that particular place within the exercise, whatever it may be. Uh, as you continue to do it, you will eventually be able to reach it. And once you reach it, uh, I mean, you achieved it. There's no going back, right? Now you acquired that knowledge, which was basically something that you had to do for yourself by putting in the work. That's the reason why it's so important to do the exercises. Nobody else is going to do them for you. You got to do them for yourself, right? So that's what I would say about that also.
Yes, correct. I think he said it a couple of lessons ago where he said, I can't do this for you. You're going to have to invest time in it. Yes, let's go to understanding the daily journey to Miklapa for everyone, right? For this is going to be information for anyone that they're going to use this to make that trip, right? Um, Brother Stanley, this part I could not understand when he was talking about this. Uh, and so would you be able to step in maybe and help me out with this, the to sleep part?
Of course, the daily journey to Mictlampa for everyone to sleep without an objective, without knowing how to interpret the dreams. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes. Was he talking about people, like specific types of people?
So basically what he's talking about here is essentially that you want to be able to sleep with a purpose, right? You want to you just don't want to go to sleep for like because you're tired, okay? That's basically what most people do. They just go to sleep and that's it, right? What he's talking about is you wanna essentially change that or try to change that into going to sleep with a purpose, right? You wanna basically be able to figure out what it is that you wanna work on as you travel to Mictlampa. Be able to either gather knowledge, learn about a particular thing, connect with your loved ones, whatever it may be. It really relates to that. We're going to be able to learn how to interpret the dreams by doing all of this, right? So that's also another thing that that we're going to be able to acquire as part of all of these different exercises. That's really what he was trying to, I think, convey with that, right? And most people are really just going to sleep without a purpose. And we need to change that. We got to be able to have a particular a goal in mind when we're going to be doing these exercises, because these are not exercises to just do lightly, right? If you just simply go to sleep, fall asleep without purpose, you really are kind of like aimless, right, in your sleep. But if you put intention into trying to ensoñar, into trying to reach Mictlampa, uh, then you're basically are gonna be reaching what the Temachtilistli was talking about and what the elders were talking about as far as being able to have two different lives within one life, right? Being able to have that life in your dream world, in the dream world, which can be even more exciting than the life that we lead with our tonal, right? Or what we know as life. So that is, I think, one of the things that he was trying to convey. No, anything, Nemo, anything else?
Yes, and also that thanks to TechPad, she helped me kind of remember the levels, right? The levels of people that exist when it comes to dreaming, and so everything that you said just with respect to levels, okay? Because there's types of people who obviously are not aware of the importance of traveling to Mitlapa, and so they aimlessly just go to sleep. And then you have those that kind of understand it. They travel there, but it's nothing, you know, they can remember. Or, anyways, long story short is that there are different levels to the sleeping realm. And so let's get into the. Oh, man. I forgot to translate. These are the instructions and materials for the first part of the exercise to the trip to Mictlampa. Okay. And so, uh, I love it. Anyways, materials. The cuatro velas is the four yellow candles. Okay, so it's just literally, I forgot to delete it. Anyways, four yellow candles, preferably, you want them to be those thin yellow candles. I think they're made out of, what are they made out of? Beeswax. But tell me what they made out of. No, you said that's
Beeswax.
beeswax. There you go. Thank you. And you want to use marigold flowers arranged in the shape of a cross. Okay. Um, Citrus fruits. This one's important because citrus fruits are the way to go. Oranges, limes, lemons, you know, um, copal or pericon. Or pericon flower in a necklace of marigold flowers, right? Or a necklace of marigold flowers. Also known as Xochicoscatl. You want to use garlic for protection. Also, tobacco, right? You want to get 13 cigarettes and you want to have the butts pointing towards Mictlampa. A red gourd with water, a gourd with earth, a gourd with a feather, a gourd with copal, or a small piece of ocote wood. An obsidian stone or an obsidian knife, preferably Itzkuintli bag or a bag for copal. Tlani, did you want to add anything or Sister Pilar?
No, anything, Pilar, go ahead if you like. Okay, so on these materials, a lot of these materials are not gonna be easily available to us, right? Especially here in the US. Uh, so some of these things, like for example, the marigold flowers, right? Which are extremely important, by the way. I'm actually trying to grow some here in Colorado now. Hopefully I get some and I can start sharing them. Uh, but the flowers, when it comes to flowers, if you guys don't have marigold, you can always use any type of flower, preferably yellow. Okay, the color yellow is quite important when it comes to the ceremonies. So that would be ideal if you don't have the marigold. When it comes to the marigold flowers, the Xochicoscat, that's basically like a little necklace that is created with flowers. It's supposed to be 20 flowers, uh, a veintena, okay? And that is generally what is going to be creating this Xochicoscat, which basically translates to like a, you know, like a necklace of flowers. Why? It's basically protection. A lot of these things are going to be protection or offerings. The garlic, extremely important for protection. The reason why these things are extremely important is because this exercise that we're going to be doing to Miklan is essentially going to be one of those exercises where we're not going to use any place. This is a real place where we're going to be leaving our body behind. So we want to make sure that our body is protected, right? And we're also making sure that we're protected while we're basically in this state of consciousness. If we reach this state of consciousness, with these exercises, especially with these ones, uh, there's a high chance, or there's a chance that we might encounter energies or things that might not be extremely friendly or might be different, right, than us. So some of these things that we're going to be carrying with us, are basically tools to protect us in a lot of different ways. So that's the reason why these are important. The ocote wood, that's basically like there's a piece of the wood of pine trees that is extremely flammable. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had firewood where there's like a little piece within the firewood that is extremely flammable, uh, more than the rest. That is basically the ocote wood. And that is the reason why that is used a lot is because it's supposed to basically also cleanse the area, the same way the copal would. So that's basically what I would say about that. The Itzkuintli bag is something that is going to be extremely difficult to locate here in the US. I have three of them. I can offer to anyone that wants one of them one. The other two, one of them was a gift from my Temachtilistli, and the other one is basically my regular one that I use. But this is something that we most likely are going to have to order from our Temachtilistli. It's basically where we're going to keep most of our tools. So anytime you go and do any type of ceremony, that's the bag where you want to be keeping your different tools. That's why you want to be carrying them on. The Itzkuintli bag is basically made out of fiber from the maguey. So it's start to have also this special power within it, right, of protection. So that's what I wanted to add about this. No needs in Pilar or no needs in TechPad?
Just to finish the list real quick, you want to use obviously the Itzkuintli bag that we were talking about, right? And each tortillas, grass, a piece of dried meat, sea salt, dried chili, a piece of cloth, preferably manta, 400 white stones, charcoal ground very finely, calidra, 20 10 peso coins, and 2,000 pesos.
So this is now a part of go ahead, no anything, Pilar. We cannot hear you, no anything.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yay.
Okay. It's ocote in English. You could find it's called fat wood. And it's basically a piece of wood that is filled with resin, and that's what makes it flammable. And so trees naturally do it when a branch falls off, like it'll shoot resin to where the end of the branch is so that it like clogs it up and it doesn't get an infection. And then you can harvest it naturally or you can actually just buy it at the store. But they sell fat wood starters, so you can start fires too. That's a I just wanted to add that to the previous list, so you guys could find it here.
Tlasukamati, no anything, Pilar. Pretty sure we can buy a lot of things online nowadays here. No anything, Nemo, go ahead.
All right, so let's get into the actual instructions. First, went through materials. Now we get into the instructions. So you're gonna want to be keeping a visual for a minimum of 13 days, right? You're gonna want to ask permission from the entities. Mictlantecutli, Xiuhtecutli, Tlazoteotl, Pactecatl. Pray the prayer, the magnificent and holy water. For this one, I need to see if he has it written down somewhere so that way we can use that. If not, you can use your own prayer, right? Two, lie down with your head facing Miklampa. For those of you who are not aware, Miklampa is where the sun sets or rises.
Miklampa is the north.
So it's where the sun rises.
No, the north. What we know as the north is Miklampa.
Like cardinal north?
Yeah, like what we know as north, that's Miklampa. What Western society knows as north, that's what Miklampa would be.
But yes, I was speaking in reference to the directions of the ancestors because I know that where the sun rises, I mean where the sun sets, that's where the Miklampa is for my understanding. And so that would be west, east, right? Where or west? Sorry, it's west. Anyhow, but yes, regardless, sorry. You want to be able to protect yourself while sleeping with a circle of salt. Okay, that's like pretty crucial and important. Sea salt more preferably if you have it available. You want to place water under the bed. Before sleeping, make a cross with saliva on the crown of your head, forehead, chest, navel, back. Bathe a machete with salt water and garlic. Soak a hat or cap in salt and wear a bandana around the neck. Wear clothes inside out. Okay, and it's very important because I believe it has something to do with scent. And the machete, we've already heard from Brother Atlani before that the machete serves as a tool to protect us, right? Because we're working with entities that are known to demand energy from you because you're requesting something or you want to talk to them or whatever it is that you want to do. And so the machete itself is technically meant to protect you from those energies that like to wrap themselves around you. And so uh, the the water under the bed. I don't remember what he said about water under the bed, and but as we all know, salt is a very good protector as well. And so you must use a circle of salt around your bed so that way you can sleep, or you don't even have to sleep on the bed. You can do it on the floor if you want to. But yes, but let me, what did he say about the water under the bed?
So the water under the bed is going to be protection, and it's going to be one of the best protections that you can use when trying to achieve traveling to Mictlampa. So if you don't mind, let me go back to the previous slide a little bit. The tortillas, the grass, the piece of dried meat, the sea salt, and the dried chili. Why do we need that, right? The reason why we need that is because of the energies, right? A lot of these things are gonna be useful to us when we actually achieve the state of Miklan, right? Why do we need these things? These are going to be trade-offs that we're going to have. And how are we going to use them? We don't even know yet. Okay. We will learn, or some of them are going to be able to help us without us even knowing, especially the salt and the dry chili. A piece of cloth. Why do we need a piece of cloth? This is actually going to be an offering that we want to give to Mictlantecutli. Again, going back, Mictlantecutli is the lord of this realm, right? So we're gonna basically do a little trade, right? We're gonna be offering a manta, which is basically this piece of clothing, uh, white if possible, right? But it's basically made of natural fibers. In none of these exercises do we want to use plastic or oil-based, things. We want to use as natural things as we can for these exercises. Uh, we also need 400 white stones. Why do we need the 400 white stones? I've actually been able to reach this place myself already. And the Temachtilistli explained it. He basically explained it as a place of darkness, okay, where you don't see anything. The way that I saw it was, think of a beautiful lake, but the water is dark as oil, okay? Uh, the sky is dark, but you can barely see different things. You can perceive things, right? Uh, in this exercise, I saw different stones, different little islands that I could jump to, right? My dog didn't let me jump. Why? Most likely because I didn't have the 400 white stones. Why are the 400 white stones needed? Because those stones are going to be able to show us the way back from wherever we go. Okay. This is a place where we can get lost. So it's important for us to find our way back to our own body. Right. So leaving a trail using the stones is going to be able to help us. The stones also represent the 400 different personalities or attributes that we might already know or that we need to learn, things like painting, craftsmanship, you name it, right? Different skills. Uh, the charcoal ground very finely. Uh, this is so that you can basically also protect yourself when you are in this realm. There's a realm where you're also gonna be able to go unnoticed, if you wanna call it that, kind of like if you're one of those, Army Rangers in a special mission, uh, so that you're not perceived by entities or energies. The calidra is basically cow, is the white powder used for cooking or painting or doing multiple different things in Mexico. I don't know that we use it that much in the US, but that's basically what that is, and it's also for the same purpose, right? There will be places where we need them. The 2010 peso coin is basically representing the veintena. Uh, so it's basically also kind of like some help when it comes to our tonales, right? Uh, help us to realize where we are so that we don't lose sight. In this place, it's really easy to come across feelings of extreme happiness or extreme sadness, or you come and you can have a conversation with an energy that may seem to you as a god, and why would you want to leave that, right? So this is meant to do that, to remind us that we're in Mictlan and that we got to get back to our body. We got to get back to our to this life, right? The 2,000 pesos, the reason why they are needed, that is really kind of like a down payment on a change, on something that you want to embark, a project that you may want to do, is basically pushing you into starting something with yourself so that you can achieve new attributes, right? Use 2,000 pesos or use, I don't know, $200 to be able to buy the tools that you might need to start creating something that you always wanted to create, or you might have a difficulty creating, but you always wanted to learn, right? So that is basically what that is meant for. So that's what I wanted to touch on as far as those particular tools there. Uh, Going back to the next one, right? Keeping the vigil for 13 days and asking permission from our energies. What is this vigil going to do for us? It's going to make us more alert, okay? It's going to basically make us be more um, aware of what it is that we're doing. It's going to make us build this stamina, this energy that is going to be needed, right? And the way that we keep our vigil really is more like a fastening, right? We're going to be doing that for 13 days. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to essentially watch our mind, right? Make sure that we're not having those negative thoughts as much as we can. Be mindful of everything that is going through our head, because we want to make sure that we quiet the mind from negative thoughts as much as we can, right? Uh, he also of course includes food and water if you can, if you, unless you have like a medical issue or something to that effect, you definitely don't want to do this, right? But essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to fast from water, food, but that's anything that is negative, right? And you want to do that for 13 days. The prayer for the magnificent and the holy water. This is the first time that the Temachtilistli basically explained to us this from using prayers that are not of his own. These are actual prayers from the Catholic Church. Okay, the reason why these prayers are used, and there's another one, I think San Benito is another prayer that is missing here, is these prayers are basically protection spells. Yeah, the church also knew about it. So they basically created these prayers, right? That within them had these protections, and our elders, because of the syncretism, right, were able to adopt these three different prayers. And essentially, to our elders, they have a completely different meaning than they do for the regular folk going on to Sunday church. They have a more deeper spiritual meaning, more from the ancestral way of life than that of Catholicism. Lying down with your head facing Miklampa, you got to protect yourself. And we spoken already about the different protection ways that we can do that with salt. Uh, with salt, what you can do is you can go ahead and create a circle around your bed. And it doesn't have to be a really big circle, like you don't have to put, 3 pounds of salt around your bed. You can just grab a little pinch and just go around your bed and, just a little bit, a tiny fraction, right? But you want to create that circle. And what is that going to do? That is going to protect your body when you're sleeping. Uh, the water under the bed, which is what Noinitsin Nemo was talking about. Well, the water under the bed, and this is something that I've seen my entire life, and I never knew the reason why people were doing it. And until I took this class, I was able to find that the meaning behind it, and the meaning is quite simple. Water is essentially protecting us from any bad energy that is coming near our body when we're sleeping. Uh, and this is something that I saw as a little kid in Michoacan. I saw it in Guadalajara also. People would talk about putting water under the bed, and I was like, well, why? That makes no sense. But when you learn about the power of water, then it makes total sense, right? Uh, Protecting ourselves by making the cross, and this is not the Catholic cross. Again, it's the Quetzalcoatl cross, right? Which is essentially that form of protection from the four directions keeping us in the middle. Again, being centered all the time, being aware that you are in the here and now, that you are the center of your universe, right? When it comes to the machete with salt water and garlic, that might be a little hard for us to do here in the US, unless you know you have a machete laying around. But essentially, the way that I do this is I do it with my obsidian, with my tech pad, with my obsidian knife, right? What I do is I just take my hat and put it on that obsidian uh, on top of it, right? On of my obsidian knife. And what that does, quite simple, our clothing is basically permeated with our energy, right? So anything trying to get to us energy wise, right? Once it tries to get to our hat or our sombrero, they're gonna be kind of like hurt by attempting that with the tech pad or with the machete. Um, Wearing the clothing inside out. I heard of this before the Temachtilistli told us about this exercise, but he was able to explain it to us better, right? And it's basically the same concept that your clothing is permeated with your energy. So when you turn it inside out, you are essentially changing the way that your body is perceived by energies around us, right? So you kind of go in a camouflage way by basically doing things of that nature. The Temachtilistli was talking about how whenever he goes out in the middle of the night, because he does a lot of ceremonies in the middle of the night, this is one of the things that they do. And the reason why they do it, and they have a sentence in Nahuatl for this exercise, right? Is so that the Nahual cannot see him, right? I forgot what it was in Nahuatl, but that's basically what the translation of it is, to make sure that you're not seen. Uh, and as Noinitzin Nemo will tell you, uh, the translation is always not the most accurate. So it has deeper meaning when it's actually said in Nahuatl than when it's translated into English or Spanish for that matter. No anything TechPad, no anything Pilar, or no anything Nemo, anything you guys would like to add?
I think y'all have done a really good job of explaining. So
Oh yeah, very nice. Any questions?
No anything Pilar, anything else you'd like to add on this? Okay, any questions that we have from Obsidian Tongue, whatever?
I think because I don't have access to the materials needed for the other ones, I'll mainly be doing the like writing down my dreams. So I remember TechBot said that um one of the best, or was it Pilar? One of the best ways to interpret a dream is like finding the sign of the day, the tonal of the day, and trying to connect it to your dream. Are there any other um tips for interpreting dreams, or is it best to do it with other people by like sharing in the WhatsApp? Or yeah.
I think there's a multitude ways of being able to communicate that, and so depending on what type of person you are, and if I mean, you can share with us, right, in the group in the WhatsApp. You can share. I mean, because of WhatsApp, you kind of already have our number, so you can share directly, or I mean, it's anyways. Um, it's Brother Tony, would you like to step in? Sorry, sorry, guys.
So what would I say about that? I think to be quite honest with you, I think that you're gonna be your best teacher when it comes to that. You're gonna be able to tell your dreams better than anyone else. Um, and why is that? It's because your dreams are your own. They are messages for you. The most of the time, other people might not understand as good as you because you had it, right? You know the details of it. You know the meaning that it has for you in a more profound way, right? So dreaming your aunt and essentially having a conversation with your aunt is going to have details within the conversation that'll make more sense to you. It's more about learning, I think, how to be able to pay attention to these dreams in a closer way when you're having them. Being able to take control of the dreams, right? And being able to actually explore the dreams in a conscious way. Uh, Taking over the actual dream to your own advantage. Uh, you will have some dreams that are really, really difficult to explain because they will make zero sense. There's dreams that I had that are cartoons, the snakes that are cartoons, right? And that makes no sense to most people, right? So how can I expect somebody else to make sense of me having a dream on which I was conscious, by the way, surrounded by snakes that were kind of like, cartoons. It makes no, it has to make the person that is gonna, that those type of dreams are gonna make the best sense to is gonna be me because I had them. So I would say that the best thing that you can do, no anything, is to try and read as much as you can about books and meaning behind it. What does it mean if you see water? What does it mean if you see clear water? That'll give you more of a guidance, right? As far as the things that are happening within your dream. But at the end of the day, um, I think that all of us have the knowledge to be able to tell the meaning of our dreams as long as we start developing it a little bit to the point that we can remember details about the dreams. Because I think that most of the time, the biggest problem that we come across is not being able to remember the dream or only being able to remember parts of the dream, right? So yeah, that's what I would say about that. No, anything.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions anybody else may have? Well, this was an easy class, I think, tonight. All right, so I think that'll do it for tonight. No anything Nebo, no anything Techpad or Pilar or Obsidian Tongue, anything else? Better girl that you guys would like to add?
No, I think it was a very well articulated, very, very good lesson. I don't know. Good job, everybody.
No anything Nemo, anything else?
I'm trying to think. No, not that I can think of. No, no.
Well, I think we'll call it a night. I think no anything Pilar got a little bit busy, so she won't be able to make any final remarks on this one. But I think it was, I think that was a good class. No anything Nemo, if you like to cut the mic or the recording now.
Yes, I'm gonna cut the mic. That's it.